Welcome to the Catch Now podcast, the second episode of the season. I don't know which order I'm putting this out in. This is very random. Very last second, we've decided to split this into two podcasts because why not? We have had a lot of complaints about how long our episodes are, and seeing as we're already an hour and 10 minutes into recording, well, why not split it into two podcasts? So this is the men's half of the National League roundup of round one and future looking forward to round two, depending what league you're in, and maybe a few predictions on where people are, who's going to end up where, shall we say. But if you haven't listened to our women's episode already and you are listening to the men's episode, you will notice that we have a different lineup for our hosts today, with Emily Busby guest co-hosting for us today. So welcome again, Emily, to the podcast. Very excited to be here, of course. To be honest, if you want to know more about Emily and how awesome she is, go watch any of the Euros podcasts or go watch the women's podcast because she's amazingly introduced herself there. And we know we've got a lot of leagues to get into, so let's get into it.
Oh, do you not want to hear my random thought for this
Go
episode?
Go on, random thought.
I noticed with our intro, right? I'm pretty sure 90% of the photos of me in dodgeball, my mouth's like open, like do I just play like that all the time? Can somebody let me know? Like just point it out to me. Even in the middle of the game, whenever I'm up court, I'm about to counter you. Just tell me if it's just open all the time or not.
If anyone's ever playing on the Bees team with Com, just go up to them and just shut the mouth.
I know that. Yeah. They do that anyway. Don't worry. Sorry, I'm only a coach.
All right, referee who is by the outbox, just turn around and.
What? Sam Mason would do it. Sam Mason would do it.
No, never mind. Right, let's go on to the league. Right, Men's Super League round one. Pretty interesting day all round in terms of some of the results. I'd say some were kind of predictable. Some teams very much in the groove. Other teams still finding their groove. London Storm. But yeah, so there were a lot of those calls at League. There was a lot of you just in the middle of like watching well, I was there coaching for the Women's League One, and you just hear from the other side of the hall, Steve.
My favorite Euros moment has to be whenever Emily has to explain to those listening to the stream that it's not Booze you're hearing, it's Steve.
Yeah. And that is the name of a golf player, for those who didn't know, who has been on many a YouTube video by the sounds of it.
Pretty sure I've brought him up in every possible episode.
Yes.
Oh, I love that man. Okay, right, leave it alone.
We all do. In Steve we trust, right? I think they're coming out for the World Cup, the World Championship. Heard rumors that shirt is making a comeback.
That wouldn't shock me in the slightest.
Absolutely love it. Whoever is merchandising them, please get in contact. Some of us would like some.
Nick would like to make it into a ball. Could you imagine if Steve's facing a ball? Oh my god, please. Just can we make this happen?
On one side it's Steve, and on the other side it just says Steve. You gotta have like some sort of sound activated shaker in it, so every time you throw it, it just goes Steve.
If it like hits off something, it goes Steve.
That would be too good. Need to look into that.
Oh my god. It's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen at all. No one could be bothered to make it. Anyway,
oh my god.
Starting off the day with a fantastic match where everyone was like, what the hell just happened? Derby Phantoms drew to what ended up being a very pissed off Spartans team by the end of it. There were some not very happy faces on that Spartans team at the end of that match. To be fair,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Rightly so from that result, because they should have done a lot better against Derby. I know. I mean, there's a caveat to have against Derby, right? Like, Derby, for those who didn't know, have gone and like won pretty much every single Open there is. I don't think they lost one or came second in any. I don't know. No, they did. Silverbacks beat them. That was hilarious. No, it was funny because one of the Silverbacks players in the final 30-second set, that was like an overtime 30-second set to win it, throws up and then runs back on court and beats them.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's funny, not because Derby lost.
There wasn't somebody like injured for Coventry as well.
Sam Walton was just on one foot.
Yes.
It was just like hopping on one foot.
Didn't the ball wedge between his feet at some point?
Yeah.
He made a catch, even though he didn't. Yeah.
Just because he couldn't move, it wasn't through skill. It was like, I cannot move my feet right now. let's have them soak up balls.
So yeah, there's always a wonder on whether Derby's ability to win Opens can translate to league fixtures, because Opens tend to be at wall-to-wall events, and also usually you get half, even less than half the number of sets in a match. So every set means a lot more. So Derby definitely have a very unique tactic in making sure that as soon as they're a singular set up, they do not concede many more. And that may work for Opens. It's a question or not whether or not that will work for League, because there are so many more sets, and also it's not wall to wall, so it brings out a slightly different play style. But it seemed to work against Spartans, and I don't know why. I wasn't able to watch it because I was helping the women's team, the Leeds women's team at the time. But were you able to see it, Emily, at all? No.
No, I was reffing the Norwich Storm game.
Wow. Okay, you've really picked the wrong court.
I watched it back on YouTube. Spartans were really weird. I thought picking up Scotty and then Derby losing Dan Ryan would have kind of had this well in Spartans' favour. And I even think whenever Finn and Straubs were the wingers, I thought they both had a really good game. I couldn't really tell you what Derby done to disrupt. I just thought everybody else in Spartans were very mediocre and making poor decisions, and Derby capitalised on it. I don't think Derby did anything particularly outstanding. It wasn't the game I was expecting to watch. I'll be honest. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, Derby did Derby things in that they're there to just disrupt how you play. If you're a really aggressive team like Spartans, they're there to discipline the fuck out of the game and make sure that you can play it, which they did fairly well, especially whenever they were able to get out Finn and Straubs early. That's whenever they controlled the game from there, right? And as you said, Nick, they were able to slow it the fuck down and play out the sets and just pick them off whenever the chances were there. It was just smart dodgeball. But whenever they were able to pick off like Ryan and Tom Bell quite early, Spartans were taking the sets, and it was just kind of that balanced matchup. Nobody really dominated the game. I think a draw is a very fair result. As much as they were having the argument at the end, which is very funny if you want to watch it on YouTube. I'll not bring up that drama. I'll let you watch it for yourself. I don't think anything needs to be said on that. Just go give it a watch. But yeah, it's a good game. There's some really good dodgeball played, and I think a draw is fair overall.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it sounds it. The Derby game I did see a bit more of was the Derby Storm game, and that is a classic example of Storm being Storm, of some really incredible players on that team, really great individuals that just don't play as a team, and it's depressing. And when a team like Derby, who are just going to like play the rules as the rules, really know how to wind you up, there are some people on that Storm team that just don't know how to go, yeah. And it's annoying because like when I was looking at this season coming into it, like my prediction was going to be Storm crack top 3, because every other team I thought was not really in a position to necessarily kick on. Rangers had an absolute shit show of the season last year. Derby, I didn't believe would translate as well to League with their play style. And I think Spartans and Meteors have changed quite a bit, and I like their lineup, how it's going to go for the future. I don't know. So I thought, well, Spartans are clear favourites, and then everyone else is kind of a bit of a mess. And I thought Storm would be in a good place. Obviously, Bees have had a lot of injuries and not their strongest selves, even though they got 3 wins. So like going into it, I thought maybe Storm are that team. Storm are not that team.
To be honest, I kind of thought the same as you. I thought Steve had one of the best tournaments in Euros. I thought Johnny Day had a very good tournament at Euros. Same with Cam, and I thought if that is your core like team, some other like quite good players like Dan Gittins can be quite a good player whenever he wants to be.
Fowler can be.
Yeah, Fowler. I completely forgot about Fowler. Very good aggressive winger. Whenever he wants to be. I kind of thought, oh, this looks like it's going to be the time where it's going to click together for Storm, and it just didn't.
It did not
work. It was weird though, because I watched them against Nighthawks, and I don't think Nighthawks are a bad team at all.
No.
Like they definitely have some good individual players. For the most part, you know, if you take out Skinner, the rest of them play usually very well disciplined dodgeball as well. And then they walked all over them. So I was like, oh, here we go. They're going to kick into gear and, you know, give Derby a real game. Don't think they did. Don't think they really turned up, to be honest. Like,
I think Derby got into a lot of their heads, and it just like I will say Derby's quick starts against London were devastating. Their conversion rate on quick starts
it works,
ridiculous.
Yeah. It's definitely an underappreciated skill from a lot of teams. How deadly like being a player up immediately is. Yeah. But he's still like, it's not like Storm aren't experienced players. Like I don't think anybody in that team hasn't been about Super League for several seasons. Like stuff like that shouldn't be affecting you. And you've seen them all perform on bigger stages than Super League and perform very, very well. I definitely wasn't expecting it at all. I couldn't even sit here and tell you what needs to change for them to become a top 3 team.
Fucking team.
Like you say that, but you're talking about how the mentality of the team like was disrupted because of Derby. You can't really coach that. It's just up to them to be, you know, disciplined on court and be professional.
So the only player that I really saw doing this is like one of the things that like really mark out like Spartans and Meteors as really good teams is that there was a prime example of this in the Meteors Sheriff's game where I think it's Joe Brown goes up to throw and Jamie's just like no hold, and then he goes to do it and he goes throws, he misses, and then there is a counter immediately on Joe, to which Jamie's there to immediately counter, and it's like that that I can't remember his name, but that comedian that is just like, if we're best friends, your dumb shit is my dumb shit, and my dumb shit is your dumb shit, and it is that is exactly what it is in Super League. Like Meteors and Spartans are a prime example of this. If their teammate is doing dumb shit, they've got their back. And in Storm, there was players having the back. Steve had everyone's back, but everyone else was a step behind. It was like, why the fuck are you doing this? Oh shit, I need to be covering you. Not I can see what you're doing. It's fucking dumb, but I'm here. Like, whereas Meteors and Spartans just see what's happening. They're like, I don't agree, but I'm going to lamp this player because I've got your back.
But this is what's so baffling, right? Because from what my understanding, I haven't actually been to a Storm training session before. They train in teams, and they're like they separate away from each other, right? And I was like, if you're training like within the same core group of people time and time again, and you don't have a basic understanding of how everybody like plays together, there's something wrong. There's something in the foundations of that squad that needs to be addressed if you're looking to take it to the next level. Like they're always going to be a Super League team. They're always going to be within like the mid table, but the ability's there to break into the top 3. And they need to find some way of sorting it out. I really don't know what they can do though. Like because they've been together as a squad. The majority of that squad's been there for a long time.
Unless it's some of those things that they don't do that stupid stuff at training because there's not maybe the same challenge they get at the Super League. So they don't feel the need to do it. And then maybe they just get to Super League and go, oh my God, I need to do something. Except that it's not
remember
like
people
panicking.
can like disrupt this.
But like their second team has been in Super League. Like it's not like their second team is a bad team to train against. Like
No.
they've got the talent and ability and depth at that and they've got so many international players on the men's and women's side. It's just like, guys, sort it out. Like you're saying, that is, as a squad, I think one of the longest squads that have been together for a long time, like the longest in Super League.
It's only like chipped and changed,
Yeah.
like one maybe two players a season at max.
I'm pretty sure they're losing Cam as well at some point soon, because he's going to Sheriffs, if I'm not mistaken.
Emily's Emily's eyes lit up there.
Yeah. That's really going to change Sheriff's fortune. I don't know. It would be an interesting one with Sheriffs.
I don't know. Sheriffs are just
results.
Sheriffs are just always going to be that team that just matches their opponent on the level of ability. They're like, I've said it for years. I'll continue saying this. They never like dominate or beat teams. They just match them and maybe beat them by a set or maybe lose to them by a set. Except for the Meteors game, we'll wipe that away from the history books.
Yeah, I mean, like any team in Super League, if you're playing Spartans or Meteors, just ignore what that result is because it's basically a league outside of those top two. Maybe someone will probably finish third and be in that conversation every year because of just how the league ends up. But in general,
Spartans.
Yeah, but like that could be a one-off. No one cares. Like, you know, it's literally the first game of the season. There is no other...
Spartans lost the Storm for the first game of the season last year. I'll give you that one.
So like, you know, Spartans will swear it out. They always do. But Rangers only just beating Sheriffs. You know, Bees had a good day. But yeah, Rangers had like a fairly solid day, but like really not very impressive results. So I think they're exactly where they were last year. And haven't changed a bit. So mid-table.
Which is funny because remember last season, have you predicted them to get top 3?
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, Colin. You guys let me down. God. But yeah, Meteors had a solid start. To be fair, our match to catch was bang on the money, considering Derby did so well against Spartans and Storm. To newly promoted Nighthawks to come within 1.
Yeah.
Again, I think Derby only had 8 as well. Is there a question of bringing 9, sneaking in there? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I also have a feeling like Nighthawks really wanted to beat Derby. I feel like that is a game that Nighthawks really wanted.
Yes, having had a discussion with some of the Nighthawks people prior to that game, I think that was the one that they really, really wanted to win at the end of the day, or they had some personal goals during that match, as well as winning.
Yes. Yep. That does not surprise me in the slightest. I kind of want to do, like, just for fun, for catching out, like, a trickle-down chart of which men's Super League team should you support? And, like, what, like, you know, the decision trees of, like, do you like teams that win a lot? Do you like the underdog? Like, those kind of things. Like, just
it's like whenever the Super Bowl comes around and it's like, pick your NFL team.
Yeah. It's like, do you want a team that follows the rules to the letter? Derby's your team. Like, you know, that kind of stuff. But, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But I also felt like Nighthawks definitely have a similar play style to Derby. They do like to whittle players down, like a team down one by one. They don't really go into any chaos and get 2 or 3 hits in a volley, like the Spartans and Meteors like to do. But Meteors look surprisingly good as well. And Bees, like, yeah, fair play to Bees. They got 3 wins on the day. They did what they needed to do against their opposition, considering, like, you know, like some will say,
you have to take
weaker team,
but it's different. It's kind of But then you've got to think like the top, like both like Rangers, Bees, and Meteors all played the same teams.
We'll get onto another league that happened with, but yes.
Yeah. So
it's always like it's a copy and paste format.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so they've all played the teams towards the bottom of the table. So it's one of those things that whilst we've got a top and bottom separation, it's gonna all change once they're playing people more towards the middle and each other for the top teams. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was important for Bees to get those wins because we've got a couple of new guys going into the Killers team, missing the likes of Aiden Ross, Liam Ryder, all missing from that squad. So just to get a bit of momentum and get some of the guys embedded and working out how they're going to play in a more competitive environment, it was kind of big for us to get those 3 wins and get the ball rolling, because there's going to be a lot tougher fixtures coming up in the next meet.
Definitely. So for our audio listeners, Lutterworth Meteors are currently at top with 3 wins. Manchester Killer Bees in second and Bedford Rangers in third, also with 3 wins. Leamington Spartans and Derby Phantoms in fourth and fifth, respectively, with 2 wins and 1 draw. Storm, the only team with a win and 2 losses, and then Sheriffs, Silverbacks, and Spartans 2 and Norwich Nighthawks filling out 7 through 10 with 3 losses. Yeah, it'll be interesting when those teams start at the bottom start playing each other. I think with some of the results, Sheriffs and Nighthawks, Nighthawks against Derby, they kind of got demolished by the others, but it'll be interesting to see who ends up fighting at the bottom. I think Sheriffs will climb up out of that based on their performances. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Any takers for top 3?
Oh, top 3.
I'm gonna go for Meteors, Spartans, and then Rangers.
Meteors to reclaim the top. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Spartans, Meteors, Derby. Who was your third? Sorry?
Rangers.
Right. Oh, bloody hell.
She's
No.
pulling the neck.
No, don't do that.
That's the curse. That's the curse they needed.
That,
Yeah.
God, absolutely shafted for the season. Sorry, Rangers.
I'm with. It pains me to say this, but I'm going to agree with Nick. I think Spartans, Meteors, and then Derby. Bodley's going to kill me.
Yeah.
And then he's going to go complain about how long this podcast is anyway, so go fuck himself.
Yeah. Will he have got to this point?
No, we're already
we'll find out if I get yelled at.
we are already half an hour into our second podcast. We haven't even got onto League One. So let's move it along to round 2 fixtures. So our match to catch being one of the second matches of the day, being Spartans versus Killer Bees. I don't know. I picked this one because I thought it's first v second, and Killer Bees kind of did pretty well. Everyone seemed to disagree. But I don't like the only other match that I thought was vaguely interesting was Meteors versus Storm, and considering how much Storm absolutely bottled it, I have no faith in that being a particularly interesting game.
I'm actually really interested to see Storm versus Sheriffs.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, that could be a solid game.
Because that's always an interesting game every season.
Yeah.
Again, two teams that just randomly decide when they're going to appear and disappear. Yeah, you just never know who's going to turn up.
Yeah.
The other one that could be interesting. There's actually a couple of good fixtures. I think Nighthawks versus Meteors. Skinner's going to really want to turn up for that one.
Yeah.
Just purely for like the rivalry side of it.
Yeah, like the storyline of it is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
I also
yeah,
think they're going to be
exactly.
absolutely dicked on, but
yeah, fun.
good luck to the referees of that game.
Exactly, it's going to be a spectacle. If that's not a match to catch, I don't know what is. I could potentially see a similar storyline between Rangers and Spartans, 2 teams that love to egg each other on with this transfer of Scotty over to Spartans. Like, it's going to be a good one to watch if you're about. Yeah, it's actually kind of set up to be a good meet.
Silverbacks, Spartans 2. That'll be an interesting one. See if either of them can get a win.
Is that who you're picking for the relegation battle then?
Don't know. Like, it's a difficult one. I don't know. I really don't know what to expect from Silverbacks. I did actually watch them play already this season, which I didn't manage to succeed last year. And they've had like quite a few new. I say quite a few. They've had 2 or 3 new players join, which is interesting in of itself. Obviously, Dan Ryan's gone to them, but they've had a player from Lincoln join them, Uni of Lincoln, who's graduated. I don't know if he's a graduate or if he's still there, but he's joined them, and he looked pretty solid while he was there. They kind of just look like Silverbacks. It's hard to see, hard to tell. Otherwise, it's going to be I think Spartans 2 are going to struggle in this league, like really struggle. And then it's whether or not Sheriffs or who are the other team that were in the bottom 4? Nighthawks. I think Nighthawks. I think Nighthawks will be fine. I think it will be a Sheriffs Silverbacks fight at the bottom. As in like Spartans 2 10th, and then 9th will be 9th and 8th will be a fight between Sheriffs and
Spartans 2 are an interesting one because I felt like it was good to see them stick with the same sort of play style that Spartans do, and I think I surely they're missing a couple of players because I was shocked by some of the ones that were missing.
Their play style for Spartans 2. Let's be clear. The play style for Spartans 2 is different to the play style of Spartans 1.
Not massively.
They're far more chaotic. They get dragged into trades far more frequently than Spartans 1. And don't come off with the better side.
I feel like they don't know when to shut off the play as quickly as the Spartans 1 team. But I wouldn't say it's a different play style. That's just more lack of experience and knowledge.
And Spartans 1 get away with more.
I would fully agree with that. Yeah. The Lone Ranger stuff comes off a lot more often for Spartans 1 than it does for Spartans 2. But like it wouldn't shock me if Spartans 2 come away with a few shock results here and there. Like is all I'm gonna say.
Who do you see them beat them?
Do I see them beating it? Like
who do you see them beating?
I wouldn't put it past them to beat Storm. I wouldn't put it past them to beat Nighthawks. I wouldn't put it past them to beat Sheriffs. Wouldn't put it past them to beat Silverbacks. I could even depends which mate that they play Killer Bees because we're missing a lot of people at the moment. Like there's a lot of potential. Like they're an annoying team to play. Like that's my point I'm trying to get across. Like the style of play can be very annoying, especially if you're having an off day. Like they can be very in your face. So although I'm not going to sit here and be like I'm going to predict them to beat anybody. It's just not a safe bet. But it just wouldn't shock me if they come away with a few shock results.
I can see them winning 1 or 2. I can't see them winning more than that. I think they are very fair. I still would put them favorites to be relegated. I was just bringing up the question. But yeah, I think they'll have a couple of interesting matches throughout the season, for sure. Fair enough. Yeah, Killer Bees have an interesting day. Spartans, Derby, and Nighthawks.
Yeah, could be especially Robbie missing, which is a loss in the wing. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to, keep the momentum rolling. Losing another player, which is going to be the story of the killer season this year, unfortunately.
Yep, some interesting games for sure. Let's get on to our match to catch, which is Killer Bees versus Spartans. And should we just get the elephant in the room out of the way? With the public prediction being one of the more one-sided polls I have ever seen, with a 84-16 split.
You're all wrong.
That's
16%.
109 to 21 in votes. I'm trying to think if there was any from the week before that was higher, and there wasn't. The highest one before was Saints versus Crocs, which was 83-17. So you got 1% more outvoted.
Disgraceful.
Crazy stuff. Crazy scenes. Who knew how little the British Dodgeball public knew, and the international, because we have a few international voters, know about National League? Because clearly Killer Bees are going to win this, right?
Definitely. Put it down. Etch it into history books already.
Yep.
Spartans are folding. Their profession, bottle job.
You did not just say that.
Yeah, I'm not playing. I can say whatever.
You're not even going to be at league to deal with the consequences of that. Bloody hell.
It's gonna get clipped.
Coach.
This is going into the Spartans WhatsApp group. I'm gonna get a lot of shit, but it's all good jest.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Spartans because I think they will win the season. So definitely backing them. Emily.
Yeah, I'm also going Spartans. Particularly with all those injuries Bees have, I don't see Bees taking
what a
it.
shock.
I think also like Bees have a shocking record against Spartans lately, don't they? In Men's Super
We
League.
drew with them last time.
Did
I'm
you?
Pretty sure.
I swear
be
it was one of
wrong
the
on
ones
that
like I
one.
keep looking at it and thinking,
Maybe it was
maybe
it was the one back before that.
I feel like, this is going to be a really close match based on how they're playing in all the other league fixtures, and then I'm utterly disappointed in Bees.
We've pulled off a few. I don't think it's been a while since we beat. Well, we beat them at the British Champs. Not
Opens
last
don't
time.
count.
The
You
time
heard it
before. not an open.
first. True.
You play proper like dodgeball rules. We pulled up a few results against them, but that was whenever we had full strength squads, which we do not this time. So it'll definitely be a much bigger challenge. But they didn't look at their best the first beat round, so you never know. See how it goes. Go with
Interesting.
the flow.
Anyway,
No water off my back. I'm not going to be playing.
officially the zero shits given corner. Men's League One. Yeah, so again, starting off with who got demoted and promoted. We probably should have said that for Super League, actually. So promotion last year was Norwich Nighthawks, and Spartans 2 got promoted to Men's Super League with Wessex Wolves and Storm 2 getting demoted. And promotion-wise, we had Ronda and Silverbacks 2 entering into Men's League 1 with Thunder Dodge and Virtue Empire getting demoted. Which, to be fair, about time for Thunder Dodge.
Honestly, I was waiting for like somebody to fold just so that they could still play in League One. Like, how many times has it happened? Like three seasons on the bounce.
Yep, insane.
Got relegated and still survived.
Yep.
Like they were the underdog story. You wanted to root for them.
Did you?
Oh, I loved. Oh,
I do. Every time I love.
Frank's gone.
Yes, do miss Frank. I did always love playing Thunder Dodge as well. They were always a fun game.
Yeah, they were a good club.
Yep, fair enough. But yeah, so again, very close matches at times in this league. Silverbacks 2 narrowly beating Sheriffs 2, who on the day looked solid. They looked much changed from last year and much improved. They're going to be some tough competition this season. This is already shaping out to be a wild League One. It does every year, but it's looking like it's going to be real hectic. I could list off a whole bunch of fixtures that I was shocked at the results at. Like, Ronda beating Rangers 2 out of the gate, Wessex obliterating Storm 2, which is like contrary to what we saw last year where like Wessex absolutely bottled it against Storm 2. You have Leeds smashing Worker Bees and MK, given they didn't beat MK once last year. and a pretty comfortable win over Rangers 2 as well. MK then only being within one set to Beagles. Storm 2 only beating Sheriffs 2 by a set. Like, Ronda and MK drawing. Like, yeah, all fixtures all over the place. All over the place.
It's like that little circle between Wessex, Storm 2, Sheriffs, and Silverbacks 2, where they all just like collectively beat and lost to each other in a completely random order that made no sense based on anybody's abilities.
Yes. And meanwhile, Leeds, Bedford Mighty Eagles, and Ronda all played the same opposition, and then Bedford and Leeds came out undefeated, and Ronda drew to MK. Yeah, I will say, like, credit to MK, they've clearly put two massive shifts in against Ronda and Bedford Mighty Eagles, but like last game of the day, 8 o'clock, they had 7 players. They nearly only had 6, so they were exhausted in that final game. So we definitely got lucky with playing them where they were, but solid results otherwise. It's kind of weird seeing Rangers 2 and MK at the bottom of the table with 0 wins after quite a solid season last year. Be interesting to see how it unfolds. But yeah, it was like the top 3 and the bottom 3 had like a little league, and then the middle 4 had like a crazy little like, oh yeah, we're just gonna beat everyone and draw and lose. It's weird. But yeah. Any thoughts? Go on, please, Phil.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Worker Bees had an absolute terrible day, so let's not talk about Bees.
No, like 5.
Go on, enlighten me how it was a successful day.
5 debuts, 6 debuts. There's a lot of new faces in that Worker Bees team. Some completely new to Bees coming out of university. Like, as we talked about before, we're kind of going through a bit of a injury/retirement crisis. So Worker Bees is complete rebuild this season. Like, compared to, I think it was our second last league meet. I think there's only there's only 2 faces that were there this meet round. Like, it is a completely new team. There's a lot that needs to be ironed out. But some good showings, some good individual play. It's just about making it a more well-rounded team that needs to come out of it. The teamwork was where it was lacking massively. Some of them played like they were definitely uni students last season, doing a lot of rogue things. So it's basically, you know, our first aim is just to try and pick up a few wins to try and stay out of that relegation zone. Hopefully, whenever a few of us come back from injury, and we have a bit more experience in the squad, that should kind of iron itself out. And then it's just about kind of coaching the players and getting them up to the level that they need to be and to be playing at League One, because it's a much tougher league this season overall than it was last year. Kind of playing rogue individual dodgeball isn't going to come off nearly as well as it would have in previous seasons. Talking to myself there more than most. But yeah, a lot of the teams that were there last season look the same, will play the same, and you know, with the coaching go up a level. Whereas, you know, we've definitely had to, you know, lower expectations from last season, trying to go for the promotion spot to now going back to can we please stay out of relegation zone, please. There's a lot of work going to go into it, but I'm optimistic for this season as a whole. But I knew that meet was going to be a tough one for us, and they improved as the day went on, which is always positive. So, you know, it wasn't as bad, you know, in hindsight as most people would think. People would walk away going like, "Oh, they were shit," and I was like, "Well, you have to take into context where we are right now."
Fair enough. How about Sheriffs 2? Emily, what light can you shed on what you've witnessed from them?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's very much a different team. We've had a lot of people come into Sheriffs this season from various locations, universities, whatnot. We now have a men's third team, which we didn't think we'd have at the start of the season. So selection's actually been quite difficult to try and pass out those three teams. So the fact that they were one set on two of their games and they took their third game by one set, like they're so tight with that mid-range table at the moment with them all playing each other. I think they're going to build on this for the rest of the season because there were some moments where they were quite chaotic, but as they get more cohesive as the season goes on, I think it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I was really impressed by that result against Wessex. Just having, because I ref that London Storm 2 Wessex game, I saw how Wessex were playing, and they looked strong. But yeah, like there were definitely some weaknesses in how they were playing, and I think Sheriffs exploited that really, really well. And yeah, like from what I saw, they looked like a proper team, like a solidified team. It was good to see something we haven't seen in Sheriffs 2 for a while. So I think they're gonna. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to see how Sheriffs 2 they do this year, because usually they've been like in that sort of like 8th, 7th, 8th position battle. I do not think they'll be there this year. So it'll be exciting to see how that goes. Rangers 2 disappointed me. Like I'm not gonna lie. I was really hoping for like a Rangers 2 of last year where they were like solidly annoying every team, and they just didn't really. Like they lost to Ronda, which surprised me because Ronda didn't look particularly strong compared to last year.
I think Rondo will do what Rangers 2 have done previously and just be a really annoying team to play against.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But otherwise, I don't really know where the league's going to go. It's going to be crazy. Like, we've been trying to work out at Leeds, like, how significant our wins were or not. Because we're currently tied with Bedford Mighty Eagles with the same amount of points for, the same amount of points against, the same set difference. But the results are slightly different because we got exactly the same score against Bees, and then we beat MK by more than Bedford did, but then we beat Rangers 2 less than we did against than Bedford did, or Eagles. But then at the same time, we knew we thought MK was going to be the biggest game of the weekend for us, so we were kind of like prepping ourselves for that, and we got to 12 sets. We knew we'd kind of got the game in the bag, and then our last 3 sets went draw, loss. So you could have easily seen that score be like the Bedford Mighty Eagles score. So we did get lucky against MK in terms of they were absolutely exhausted by the end of it. We did try and save our energy as a result, but yeah, it's hard. Like, yes, we're very happy with our wins and how we felt they were kind of convincing, but it's really hard to judge where we are at because we're playing a Bees team that were very, very much changed. We played a Rangers team that we kind of convincingly beat but let come back into it because we were trying to conserve energy. And then we convincingly beat a exhausted MK team. So where do you put us? But hey,
comfortably out of the relegation zone, and that's what matters.
Yeah, that's and that, to be fair, I'll take that because this year. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing for this year, right? So let's go into Men's League One and the table. The interesting thing about this season is that if I read it correctly, the bottom team automatically gets relegated, and then 7th, 8th, and 9th go into a playoff against the top 2 of each team in the regional league. I think that's what I read. I'm gonna check that because I can.
That doesn't sound right. It sounds like the 8th and 9th.
Men's
There's
League
definitely
One.
some degree of
Bottom 2 teams.
Oh, there is a playoff.
Yeah, but sorry, bottom 2 teams relegated. 7th and 8th teams to compete in National League One playoff, and then promotion was the top 1 team promoted from both regional leagues, and then second team to compete. So there is a 4-way playoff. So there's a so there's a 4-way playoff between 7th and 8th and the second teams in the regional league, and then the top teams automatically get promoted, and the bottom 2 teams for League One automatically get demoted. So unless you finish 6th, you are not safe. This is what we were talking about. That you are going to have potentially 40% of the league change. No, 60% of the league change because you get 2 promotions as well.
Yeah, you've got the promotions and demotions from the top. Oh my god.
Yeah. If this league wasn't already chaotic and stressful enough, just to throw that into the mix, unless you're finishing 3rd through 6th,
I'm really looking forward to Men's Northern League 2 next season.
Yeah, well, playoffs are renowned for being not good at letting people get promoted and demoted because we've seen it in other sports. It's gone very badly.
Jeez, that's so chaotic, man.
Yeah.
Like.
Anyway,
good luck to anybody in those playoffs.
So for our audio listeners, Bedford Mighty Eagles and Leeds Owls are exactly tied at first place. There is nothing to split them according to the BD rules. So they are both tied in first at 6 points. Ronda in 3rd with a win and a draw, so on 5 points. Wessex and Storm 2 in 4th and 5th with 2 wins and a loss. With Sheriffs 2s and Silverbacks 2s in 6th and 7th with a win and 2 losses. MK with a draw and 2 losses in 8th. And then Rangers 2 and Bees 2 at the bottom with no wins. And as we said, the top 3 played the bottom 3. So that's the situation there as well. And then, the middle 4 just played each other and all sorts of craziness. So going to be an interesting one. I think, a few teams are going to mix around probably, but...
I think there's going to be a lot of change in this league.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Keep your eyes peeled. I'm going to go straight into the fixtures for next league meet, which is the wrong league again.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Cool. Also, for those that complained that my graphics were wrong, it's not my fault that BD just tried to change or decided to change 2 matches from Men's Super League and Women's Super League, and swap them around on Court 1 and Court 2. It's annoying. Anyway, so Men's League 1, Round 2, our match to catch is Beagles versus Bedford Mighty Eagles versus Leeds Owls. I'm personally interested in that one because they are tied for first with the same set difference. So I think that's going to be a massive game. But big games all around for Leeds, Ronda and Wessex as well to play. Anyone else, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with that being the match to catch. I think it'll be very telling for Leeds as to where you are because, Beagles being Beagles are just annoying to play against. Like, no matter how well you play, they're just so goddamn annoying.
The most annoying thing about Beagles is that they do this stupid little handoff thing when they're retreating, and it's the most annoying thing to watch because you're like, why are you doing that? And it's somehow paid, it doesn't cause them a problem. Is what surprises me is that people
got to protect Dad.
But it's not even that. It's basically whoever's on the wing, the middle player gives the ball to, because they often like to throw singles where the wingers
don't do it as much.
They don't do as much as they did years before. But man, just such a weird thing to do.
It is very weird. It works for them. It's just weird. Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't feel right,
Feels icky.
Yeah.
If there's a dodgeball ick, I've got it.
If there's a dodgeball ick, that's it. If the dodgeball ick, it's do not give me a play that hands the ball off the
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Yeah. Anyway, in terms of, do you know what could be a very interesting game is the Ronda Sheriffs 2, based on how you describe Sheriffs 2 playing.
Yeah, and them against MK as well, depending on how many MK.
Yeah, MK.
Yeah, true.
One. Yeah.
Definitely interesting to see how MK handle the 3-match league meets as well, this time around. Whether they're able to bring extra players, bodies on court. Don't know how possible that is. That's a very different story.
Yeah. Silverbacks 2 against Rangers 2 as well. That's going to be an interesting one.
Leeds against Wessex.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah.
a very interesting game. I'm still trying to work out where Wessex are going to like sit in this league.
I mean, like, they lose to Sheriffs, but smash Storm 2. Like, what I'll say about that game is Storm 2 were chaotic as hell and clearly had some warming up issues, like, in terms of just getting into the groove of playing National League again, but they were all over the place. But given the players that they've got on Storm 2, I fully expect Storm 2 to do much better than that. But maybe they take after their ones and they just underperform. Who knows? Maybe it's a club.
Maybe it's a club. Jesus Christ!
What Robbo.
I thought we battered them enough.
Coming for you now.
I mean, to be fair, Wessex was the club I battered last year for like. Let's not forget how they were 3 sets up with less than 3 minutes to go, and they were 6-1 up in the finals, like in that set, and they still drew the match. Like, yeah. I'm gonna bring that one up over time and time again.
They won't forget that. They will not forget that.
We will not let them.
Nick's just gonna have it on like an
Nick
iPad
won't let
on
you.
repeat.
Yeah, that's actually like, as a coach, I'm gonna be in the coach's box, just sat there with it on the game on the side, just like remember.
I beg you to do that.
I will say it's quite a different Wessex team from last year because they've lost, I think, 4 players from last year. Not a big oof, because some of it was like they have like a new sort of attendance thing that they've introduced to make sure that people are actually coming to training. So a few people have just decided they're not going to play anymore, and I know Dan Brown as a result has gone to Ronda as well. So that's, I think, the 3 or 4 players that they've lost is due to that.
Go on, name and shame, Nick. Name and shame.
I wish I could. I don't know. I don't know names.
Who are the lazy buggers?
For the club that I supposedly love, I do not know any fucking names. So, wish I could. But yeah,
you think they're just a women's team? Point proven.
Provided that men's team stay healthy, because I know last year they had 2 real major injuries, and like I think it's Mark's knee. As long as that holds up and everyone's okay and fit and healthy, there'll be an interesting team. I'm gonna shame Luca. I know you might be listening to this, but 2 lying faults, man, on throwing. Oh, like, just make sure your shoes have a bit more grip. The worst bit is like I was watching as reffing. I was watching that middle line, and it's, when you plant your foot the first time and you're fine, and then your momentum just inched forward and you touch the tape, and I'm like, oh, gotta go, bud, gotta go. And it's just, it was the slightest one, but yeah, just take that 2 inches back and you'll be fine, bud. You'll be fine. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I would love to see that Sheriffs 2 game against them to understand how Sheriffs did that. So if you've got any recordings of that Sheriffs, please release it. Some of us are interested.
Yeah, can everybody? Well, can people just post
The
dodgeball on YouTube?
channel is no longer private, so it will likely just go up. But
yeah,
it's all in. If you need it, message Sam. Sam's in charge.
Yeah, we need a way of like ensuring that once you're in like League 2 or higher, that each club has a mandatory GoPro that they can take to each league.
Yeah, if everybody can just post it, especially with the live streams only having 2 meets now, or 2 league sessions now. It's really annoying to try and like not be at St. George's Park and still watch dodgeball to people that talk about it. It's quite infuriating. That's why Derby's like definitely gone up in my book, so they get it up and ready like really quickly.
But they don't do a score, do they? They just put up the
match. It's something we started doing at Bees as well, because like as coaches we
but you guys have so much fucking film.
Oh yeah, bless Matt. Like he does a smashing job getting it all up. Sure, Derby have the same. Like they've got like
they've got a real program going. I hate to see their storage solution.
My subscription box on YouTube like just fills with dodgeball for like 2 or 3 days after.
Absolutely fantastic the other day when like Jess annoyed Ted enough to like make all the Leeds historical games public. So my
Nah,
feed just
that
went
was so
boom.
annoying. I was trying to find a video and I just had like 10 minutes of me scrolling down.
It's
Like,
like 30, 40 odd games just instantly in people's subscription
I seen-
boxes.
I seen a thumbnail with Rob Kearns and I was like, what the fuck have I missed? He hit me over the head and put me back in 2019.
Oh man, yeah, good, yeah. Anyway, if you can take video and you can share it, please do. But some big games going on this weekend for League One, and yeah, be interesting to see where we sit come the next episode. But let's go to our match to catch, which we never got that jingle, did we? We never got that jingle sorted.
Oh, I did. Sorry, my brain's not functioning today for me to make up a song.
It's fine. It has been like what, 8
So will it be,
months,
like, very
9
croaky?
months since you've done it. But yeah,
It'll make a return whenever I'm healthy.
One
Unless you want to hear
day.
coughing. Unless you want to hear coughing as the jingle.
one day. Anyway, to all your listeners, our match to catch is Bedford Mighty Eagles versus Leeds Dodge. As absolutely no surprise, President at Leeds, I am going for Leeds.
This was chosen by Nick.
Tell me this is not the match to catch, though.
There's a couple others you would, I really like.
Fine.
I
Whatever,
really,
go on. Shut
really
up,
like
make
that
your damn
Ramda
prediction.
versus Sheriffs too. I think it'll be Bedford.
You think Bedford? Okay, fair enough. Any reason? Just
Don't-
going with Bedford.
As we discussed earlier on, they're just really annoying to play, and I don't trust Leeds to keep consistent play.
We've been well known for being consistent, right?
Consistently shit. That's different. That's easy.
We are consistently inconsistent. Hey, look, I will say, like, I held my tongue earlier, but like I'll say it now. One of the reasons I lack faith in Spartans 2 is that last year we came 7th and we drew to them twice. We came
Yeah, but they still got
7th.
promoted.
Yeah, they got promoted and they drew to 7th.
And
And yeah, okay, they're going to do really well. Like they drew 7th in National League One and they're going to do really well in Super League. Sure.
they
Okay.
still managed to beat enough teams to get promoted. It doesn't mean they're
Yeah.
a bad team.
No, I know, but like in terms of Super League and being able to be consistent enough to do that, I don't think they are. But yeah. Anyway, Emily, we'll shut up.
Yeah, so just looking at the results, I was originally going to go for Leeds. However, you having spoken about the fact that the only reason your MK score was so good is because they had no people and they were dead, has made me switch my mind because actually the Rangers score will probably be more reflective, therefore, so I'm going for Bedford.
But I also
Mighty
explained
Eagles.
why our Rangers score was not as big. So
The woman's made up her mind.
fair
Move
enough,
on,
fair enough.
Nick.
You know, fair cop, can't argue. I'm in my place. And also the public opinion is also Bedford Mighty Eagles with a 76-24, 97 votes to 31. That's quite one-sided as well. So yeah, we're going to have a bee in our bonnet, I suppose, in proving them wrong. But it's one of the early games. It's gonna be
I'm sure
really
the
interesting.
entire Leeds team are going to be watching this and will be very affected by the public outcome. Ted's
I'm-
crying. I can hear it already.
that it may or may not have occurred that the Ross Milburn fan accounts voted for Bedford Mighty Eagles as motivation.
Plural.
Yes.
Plural. Can I make this very clear? Ross fan accounts.
We love Ross. That man. I mean, did anyone actually see the post he did?
Wait, which one?
He did a post that was like, we ain't won nothing yet, and it was like interviewing Rossi HM after a emphatic 3-0 start for Leeds Dodge.
It's just him screaming "King of the North" again. He loves to do
It was
that.
oh man, it was iconic. Love that stuff. Love the motivation. Brings the energy.
Can I put out a public service request and ask them to bring back the karaoke live streams, please? I miss them.
So funny. That was so funny. I do remember that. That was good. Oh man. But yes, so that covers it for things that we're going to look forward to in terms of
At
St.
St.
George's
George's
Park.
Park.
However, there were things that happened elsewhere. We'll cover things that have happened. I'm not going to look at the league tables, but Men's League 2 South did occur as well, which saw... So for those that don't know, this year, what was occurred before, you had Men's Super League, Men's League 1, Men's League 2, Men's League 3, and Men's League 4. They've now removed Men's League 2, 3, and 4, and they've split them up into regional leagues, so that you have Men's League 2 South and North, and Men's League 3 South and North as well. So in the League 2s, you have teams ranging from League 2 all the way down to League 3. So, for example, here, Essex got promoted and last year. Chippenham did or didn't. I think Chippenham finished top as well, or second. But Essex were the one that finished top overall and got promoted. So they're in this league with Thunder Dodge, who got demoted and are in the South region. And Virtue Empire must be in the North League based on that. Worcester in the North? Don't know. Bit weird.
They're in North Mixed.
Okay, fair enough. Worcester is very south to be in the north. Yeah, I don't think there's many games to really like. So I'm actually catch with Saints v Crocs. I will have it known that I voted against this game in the match to catch discussion in our group chat, because anyone who's watched Saints know that they are pretty damn good and have smashed Crocs in the past. So it was gonna be a bit one-sided, and it was 21-3. I'm shocked. So thank you, Zoe and Colin, for really aiding us on making sure this was a big game.
What did you vote for before you?
Yeah, what was the game?
off.
I don't remember.
You talk. I find.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But I mean, Thunder Dodge against Carmarthen, that looked like an interesting game, and Crocs v Nighthawks 2, closer than I thought. Though they were quite close in Men's League 3. They were both in Men's League 3 last year, so probably what I expected. Don't know. And then London Storm 3, who got demoted from League 1 a while ago, looking pretty on two very, very substantial wins. Hard to say who's going to win in this league, to be honest. I think Saints are probably favourites. They're a solid team, and they've been playing really well together for a while, so I'd probably back them. I think second place is up for grabs still. I don't really have much to say on that.
Maybe London Storm.
Maybe.
Yeah, you bottled it with your match to catch as well, mate.
Oh, did I?
Essex Storm 3.
Fair enough. I was
Back
curious about
box.
the game. Yeah, to know my logic on that one is that Essex won League 3 and Storm were okay last year, so could have been an interesting marker to see how well Essex would do in the promoted league. But hey, no, fair enough. Storm 3. They have only played 2 games though, so we don't know for sure what they're going to look like going forward. So I think it's too early to say, but I would say Saints are a foot in the door for promotion for that one spot. But yeah, this is also another plea of, if you are at the South League and you want us to cover the South League, Zoe and Colin and I are not going to cover it because we're not there. So if you would like for us to discuss it, and maybe even be on the podcast and just have a chat about it, let us know, because we don't know how to cover it and we'd like to cover it. So get in contact.
You could be my reverse beanie.
Yes.
Can we get like an Italian on?
Change that orange to a red and that works, right? Like, yeah. So if you are in the South Leagues, please let us know. And also, if you have a camera at the South Leagues, please can someone take some photos, because I'm very quickly going to run out of photos for the backgrounds of these fixtures. So you are going to have to get used to a lot of Saints players, because that's what we got photos of.
On the camera thing, I love how you just randomly appear in a bunch of different dodgeball videos that have gone up this week. It's great. It's like Where's Wally?
Where's Nick with his camera? I mean, to be fair, it was only the morning session. I didn't do it in the afternoon because I was shattered and I was focused on coaching with the men's ones. But yeah, if anyone can take any photos,
why I got 3 wins.
Yep, definitely. There was literally one set where I just screamed at Ryan, "Go!" and like it went from, I think they were 2-4 down, and they came up with a draw or a win in that set, and they had 5 seconds, and I'm like, that was all me, Coach Spock's 5 seconds, get up there. Yep.
Player of the year.
Yep. But yeah, so yeah, if you're on the south, please get in contact and let us know, and please give us some photos, pretty please, flowers on top, and make sure the people of the pictures that you've taken pictures of are happy for your photos to be shared as well. But yeah, and then Men's League 3 South, we'll summarise this one real quick, with PB finally entering the National League after they've been around for a bit now. Berkshire Royals also entering the league after being around for a while. Both of them entering 2 teams, which is awesome to see. Crocs 2 entering a 2nd team, probably due to the fact that it's closer to home. So yeah, some new teams there. And Saints 2 also entering a 2nd team, which is a big win for them. Big nice surprise, I'd say. And yeah, our match to catch was Saints 2 v PB2 because these were 2 new teams coming in that we had no idea what to expect. But yeah, again, probably a bit off with that one because that was a hell of a game. It looks like Ronda 2 versus Saints 2. I have no idea who's in those teams, but a nice draw there. No idea who's going to win this one.
You can talk about it on the podcast.
Yes, you can. You too could be like us and get everyone very angry at you for not knowing what you're talking about. I mean, it would make match to catch absolutely hilarious. So yeah, do get in touch.
We're just gonna pick the most random games.
We're just gonna pick the match to catch first v last every time, just to see how much of a point.
Oh my god! What we should do in future, just have those random wheel generators.
Oh, things. The wheel generators match to catch.
pick the match.
that'll be the new match to catch video going Insta reel going up or TikTok.
Oh my god, yes. I'll sort that.
This will be the live picking on match to catch for the South Leagues and North Leagues because no one knows or cares.
Whoa, I didn't say a cares bit. You can go after Nick. Nick.
I've got a team in the North.
I'm playing in the North League,
You should definitely.
I should definitely care. Anyway, Men's League North 2, Men's League 2 North. I don't know which order you're meant to say it. I guess it's Men's League 2 Subdivision North. I don't know, because the Men's League 2 is North and South. Weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it says on the website Men's League, then the number, then North and South.
Yeah. Also, I think both leagues have 8 teams in. I think the South League might have more teams in. I can't remember. So this is another scenario where it's kind of split weirdly. I think British Dodgeball have set a somewhat permanent line of how they're splitting the North and the South. I don't think that's going to be changing season upon season. I don't think. Don't quote me on that one. So I think those that are in the North and the South can expect to stay like that, and therefore, when the new season comes and certain teams have been demoted or promoted, you're not going to get a reshuffling of new teams in new places, which I think kind of makes sense for Dodgeball.
They would try to keep it to a minimum anyway.
Yeah, unlike other national leagues or the sporting leagues where you end up having to play a home and away fixture 3 hours away that's been reshuffled. At least in here, because it's an aggregate of everyone, it's not too bad. So if you are in that Midlands border, the difference between getting to Reading and Sheffield is not horrific. So yeah, this is going to be at Sheffield, Virtue Empire, and Thunder Dodge got relegated on the other one. So Virtue Empire being relegated and promoted were, is that Spartan 3s? Yeah.
Yes.
Spartan 3s got promoted. And yeah, otherwise it's essentially Men's League 2 and Men's League 3 teams with Bovines.
That's how the split works, yes.
I know. Bovines are the only Men's League 3 team.
Where were Derby seconds last season?
They were in the.
they
were
were-
in.
no.
They were in League Two.
Oh, okay.
They were, because I remember Dan Ryan playing for them. That was funny.
Yeah, that was so random.
Yep.
Yeah, it should be an interesting league. That, to be fair,
Bovines are going to be interesting because, yeah, no idea what's going to turn up with that team. You never do with bovines. That's the whole point of them.
Listen, I think it's usually a win if they turn up sober. So
Oh, it really like questions the validity of any win that they get, doesn't it? Like how oh yeah. Anyway,
I don't think they're as bad as they used to be, but
No.
that'll always be the bovines that I'll remember.
yeah. But yeah, for our audio
Good-
listeners, this
good
this
old
league
days.
this league contains Worcester Virtue Empire, Leicester Mustangs 1, Leamington Spartans 3, Stafford Raptors, and Manchester. Sheffield Bovines and Manchester Soldier Bees. Is that the one
you
it is?
nailed it. Well
Yeah,
done.
there you go.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, cool. And on to the final league, which I'm kind of impressed that we've done this quickly. On to the final league, which is Men's League 3 North. Hartlepool Mavericks, Leicester Mustangs 2 and 3, Leeds Barn Owls, Derby Phantoms 3, Nottingham Sheriffs 3, as Emily said earlier, and Manchester Mason Bees.
Minor.
Minor?
Minor
Oh,
Bees.
okay. Minor Bees.
Mason is
Mason's 5. Bloody hell, there's too many.
You're telling me.
Too many.
It's actually really funny on the BD website. They have it down as Nottingham Sheriffs.
Yes, I saw that and I was like, we're going to get shafted this year. Guys, like, throw the white out.
And then they have Leicester Mustangs seconds down twice.
Yep. It's
Great
amazing
job.
that they didn't, like, when they distributed the original league list to all the clubs, it said Sheriffs, like Nottingham Sheriffs, in that league. So I was like,
So this is an issue they've had
surely
already.
they
Yeah.
know. Surely they're going to spot that when they see it. Because
Listen,
they fixed it
Sheriffs just wanted
for...
the gold medal, you know.
Yeah, like they fixed it for the Women's League. So Women's League 2 had Coventry Silverbacks 2 and Coventry Silverbacks 3, but no Silverbacks 1 team.
yes.
They fixed that. They clearly didn't fix this. So I'm assuming that it's Nottingham Sheriffs 3s that are in Men's League 3 North. Otherwise, Derby 3s and Bees 4s are going to be in for a rough day. I don't quite know how that fits in with BD regulations, how Sheriffs have pulled that one. But hey, if BD say it's their ones, then it's their ones.
Who are we
Yeah.
to judge?
But otherwise, that's it for the men's League 3. 3 North, don't know who's going to finish top. I mean, I personally think it's going to be Hartlepool. I really like their team, and I think they're a good solid team. They have lost a couple of players because they've got older and moved on, but they're solid. So I'd be surprised if they don't do well. And that's it. That's been the podcast. That is our summary of our intro into the season, and also a review of the first few matches for Men's League 1 and Men's Super League. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're in the South Leagues, don't forget to get in contact. And if you want to take some photos and stuff and send it through to us, that'd be fantastic.
I
And
thought you were about to say, "Let's get photos with us at League." I was like, "You're weird."
No. I'll probably be absolutely exhausted at League on Sunday, having played on Saturday. I am not looking forward to that in the slightest.
Yeah, that's the only reason why that's not happening.
But yeah, please give us subscribe, give us a good rating on wherever you listen to your podcasts, and go listen to all the other content. Watch as many dodgeball matches as you can. Try and get to League if you can to watch and support different teams. It'll be fascinating. And let us know if you want us to what else you'd like us to cover, because we may at some point venture into not doing just podcast stuff. So let us know if there's anything you might want us to cover. Maybe discussion on tactics, maybe a who's who of Men's Super League and Women's Super League, go into the history of different teams. Who knows? We could do all sorts.
Maybe a session roasting Nick.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch Dodge Central like just absolutely like skim ideas off this now and put it on their channel. Like,
Can we get like a list of all the messages where it complains about like whether you've got the match to catch time wrong, the score wrong, the table
Yeah.
wrong,
yeah.
and then just compile a whole list and go through that for a video.
I
That'd be
try my
great.
best. I like full disclosure. I send these to Zoe and Colin for them to check.
Sometimes.
Do they quality assure the stuff that I produce? Sometimes.
Whenever the time I do. Oh, come on, you give me a wee bit of credit.
Yeah,
Whenever I
check
can, I
them.
do.
That doesn't mean that things don't get through the ones that you check as well.
Probably wouldn't shock me.
Yeah,
Wouldn't shock me
so-
in the slightest.
But yeah, hopefully the matches stay in the order that they do and BD don't change them around before the weekend. I know they've already had to change the reffing because they had Leeds down to referee two matches at the same time. So
we already know that's not happening.
yeah, so the reffing schedule may change as well. Full caveat, the graphics are there to be nice and hopefully guide you in the right direction. Check BD website, like rely on them. But yeah, and hope to see you at the weekend and good luck to all those that are playing.
See you there.
See you next one.